Welcome back. All right, base gasket for the engine. Not to be confused with the head gasket, because they are kind of similar looking, but you definitely don't want to put the wrong gasket in the wrong place. This one has a couple more holes. It's a little bigger, but base gasket. So the reason I have it hanging here on this little wire is because I'm going to take some of this copper spray gasket sealant stuff and spray this gasket before I install it. So I'm going to go do that, and I will be right back. All right, gasket has been sprayed. This is just a little, I guess just a little bit of insurance. Just spray it on both sides, help seal a little bit. Get a little tacky, I guess, hold it in place a little better. So we're going to install that on the engine. So with this gasket all sprayed up, there's an end that's wider than the other end, and that end goes towards the front of the motor. Also, what you have to understand is this side and this side, while they look the same, this hole is bigger and this hole's bigger for the dowel, the lineup dowel. So you have to just make sure you have it set to put on the right way. You want to run your cam chain up through the middle of it, which will be the bottom side as you do this. Put the gasket over the studs. It's paper gaskets. This one could be a little flimsy, and it just popped down like that. All right. So that's a good thing. Let me just wire this up here to hold that in place. All right. So next, move you back here. The cylinders in here, there's rubber O-rings. You do not want to forget those. I'm going to pop these back out again because we're going to put some assembly lube on them anyway. So we're going to put our rubber gaskets in here. Don't forget to remove the old ones. That would be a good thing. And all these should come with a gasket set. I know, thrilling watching me put an O-ring in, isn't it? There's a groove for it down there. Make sure you get it in place. And I'll do the same with the other one, and I'll be right back. All right. I had to give these a little nudge into their groove. You can use a screwdriver, but just be careful you do not rip one or break one. With the crankshaft, so these are up as high as they can go. This is just a engine assembly lube that I have. Put some to the connecting rod holes. To the holes in the piston. These as well. Just wipe it on. It's in a little lube. It's almost like a thick grease. But it'll protect it the first few seconds when there's no oil pressure. Although I have a feeling I'm going to be cranking this thing a bit before it starts, which will get oil hopefully everywhere in the motor. All right, this part is going to take a little finagling. I've seen people put like pieces of wood here to hold the cylinder up while they're sliding it down. So they could do it. I don't like putting anything against this gasket though. that could damage it. So we're just going to try this old school way. Take this. Drop it down some. Okay. So connect rods at the top. Kind of got a wrench just sitting there to hold them. Got my cylinders. Put this box over here to try to hold them up some. I'm going to run my wire through this tunnel in the cylinders so I can pick up my cam chain. Slide these on with the cam chain adjuster slot in the back. Sure, I got these started on all the studs. There we go. We want these inside. This is going to rest on this box for now. Let's find out where our connecting rod is. Gonna lower that down a little. Okay, and do the same to this side. All right. I think I've got them both started pretty good. That just slides right in. As does this side, okay. Now I'm going to put our other pin in here without dropping it down the engine. You can stuff a rag in there or something if you wish. This can be a little bit daunting because if it flies, you may lose it. That wasn't so bad. That side, take a look over here. That side is in. All right, do the other side. Both of them are in. Let's make sure we got our cam chain up here. Get our box here on the way. Make sure it's in the dowels, like so. And we got cylinders in. All right. That's a biggie. Don't crank that engine around. Do not do that. Move these up a little bit. All right. I think we will go on next to the cylinder head. The cylinder head, you have the valves and the rocker side. If you're in need of one, you have to get them both as a set. If you don't, you're risking the chance that things are not going to line up right, because when these are made, they're line bored as an assembly, so the holes go straight through them. There's a number here and a number here. Make sure they match if you're unsure. But yeah, don't go out and buy a cylinder and try to use your old rocker, because if these holes are off a little bit, that cam's gonna get stuck in there. Somebody used red Permatex on this at one point. Not good. But we gotta clean this all up. Anyway, there are O-rings under these caps for the rockers. There's also O-rings in these tubes, so just be aware of that. We can knock those tubes out and replace those as well. Valve seals under here, do that. We will lap the valves in. They look pretty good though from here, so hopefully they seal well. These things need to be cleaned up pretty good too. Okay, let us begin. So all this is red Permatex that came off, you know, the tops of the cylinder head on this side. Got some more down here, which just goes to prove there's someone that's a bigger hack than me. All right, under these four, in the four corners here, there's O-rings. And they should come in a kit with the rest of the parts. So what I'm gonna do is hang this over the bench a little bit. I can get you to see there. What I found on these in my tool set, my socket set, an 8mm fits like right there. So you put your little pinky underneath here. Give this a few taps, and out it comes. And that's the O-ring. Replace that. And do that to all four. So what these O-rings do is, these are for your rocker shaft, but oil goes through there to keep them lubricated. So what happens is it goes through. That one was very loose. The hole goes through the side, right through one of the sides of these. So this is just to stop the oil from leaking down through. Of course, you can see on the top as well. All right, removing the valves. So I have a very cheap valve spring compressor. Just one end holds the valve. The other end goes around the top. We're going to compress it, and then we're going to pull out the little collars. So this thing will do the job, but it's, you know, a cheap little one. For the amount I use, that's probably all I need. All right, just put those in. Should be able to pull these out with a magnet. Probably don't have it compressed enough yet. All right, there we goes one. This one's being stubborn. All right, number two. I'm just going to back this off with the pressure off of the spring. Okay. That out. Remove our valve. Just got a wire wheel. And then our valve seal is right up here on top. we're going to pop that out because we're going to replace those. I say pop it out, it's going to be silver. There we go. Make sure I got it all. Clean that all up. All right. That'll be next. So to check your valve guides, you slide the valve back in again. And kind of rock it back and forth, see if it moves much. This one's pretty good. Doesn't really move much at all. And that'll, if it moves a lot, then you know your valve guides are worn. Probably have to replace those. Alright, so I took these to the wire wheel. And the faces actually look really, really good. So I am going to put some lapping compound on them and lap them in a little bit. But I don't expect it to need much. So I'll set up and show you that. Alright, so this is valve grinding compound. That's a little way too much. Gonna smear some on the face here. Gonna stick that in the cylinder. Gonna take a little suction cup job. I've seen people put, there's a little bit of grease in here too to help the suction. Right, the valve seal. Just put it over the top here. I'm going to use a socket. This one happens to be 11 millimeter. I'll just pop it on there. Not going to take much force to get it on there. That's it. Gets a little bit of oil. Put it in the seal there. And then I'm going to push my valve up through it. Put the springs on. Put my tool back in, which I will set up and then show you. Tighten this back up. Make sure we're aligned on everything. And stick our collars back in. Slowly let this back out, make sure our collars are seated. Can always look at another one to see where they ride. That's what one looks like. That's what ours looks like. You probably want to give it a little tap or something. Just make sure everything's seated properly. Good to go. And that's that. All right. I've gone through 3 batteries today, so my batteries are dead and need to be charged. So that's it for today. And I guess then this is all set. We are going to put it on the engine. All right. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.